Thelonious Monk. Thelonious Monk was an American jazz pianist and composer. He had a unique improvisational style and made numerous contributions to the standard jazz repertoire, including Round Midnight, Blue Monk, Straight, No Chaser, Ruby, My Dear, In Walked Bud, and Well, You Needn't. Monk is the second most recorded jazz composer after Duke Ellington. Monk's compositions and improvisations feature dissonances and angular melodic twists and are consistent with his unorthodox approach to the piano, which combined a highly percussive attack with abrupt, dramatic use of switched key releases, silences, and hesitations. Monk's distinct look included suits, hats, and sunglasses. He also had an idiosyncratic habit during performances. While other musicians continued playing, Monk would stop, stand up, and dance for a few moments before returning to the piano. Monk is one of 5 jazz musicians to have been featured on the cover of Time, the others being Louis Armstrong, Dave Brubeck, Duke Ellington and Wynton Marsalis. Thelonious Monk was born 2 years after his sister Marion on October 10, 1917, in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and was the son of Thelonious and Barbara Monk. His poorly written birth certificate misspelled his first name as Thelius or Thelius. It also did not list his middle name, taken from his maternal grandfather, Batts. His brother, Thomas, was born in January 1920. In 1922, the family moved to the Phipps Houses, 243 West 63rd Street, in Manhattan, New York City. The neighborhood was known as San Juan Hill because of the many African-American veterans of the Spanish-American War who lived there. Urban renewal displaced the longtime residents of the community, who saw their neighborhood replaced by the Amsterdam housing projects and Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, though the Phipps Houses remained. Monk started playing the piano at the age of 6, taking lessons from a neighbor, Alberta Simmons, who taught him stride playing in the style of Fats Waller, James P. Johnson and Eubie Blake. Monk's mother also taught him to play some hymns, and he would sometimes accompany her singing at church. He attended Stuyvesant High School, a public school for gifted students, but did not graduate. For 2 years, between about the ages 10 to 12, Monk's piano teacher was Austrian-born Simon Wolf, a pianist and violinist who studied under Alfred Megerlin, the first violinist and concertmaster of the New York Philharmonic. Monk learned to play pieces by composers such as Bach, Beethoven, Liszt, and Mozart, but was particularly drawn to pieces by Chopin and Rachmaninoff. The lessons were discontinued when it became clear that Monk's main focus was jazz music. At 17, Monk toured with an evangelist, playing the church organ, and in his late teens he began to find work playing jazz. In the early to mid-1940s, he was the house pianist at Minton's Playhouse, a Manhattan nightclub. Much of Monk's style, in the Harlem Stride tradition, was developed while he performed at Minton's, where he participated in after-hours cutting contests, which featured many leading jazz soloists of the time. Monk's musical work at Minton's was crucial in the formulation of bebop, which would be furthered by other musicians, including Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Christian, Kenny Clarke, Charlie Parker, and, later, Miles Davis. Monk is believed to be the pianist featured on recordings Jerry Newman made around 1941 at the club. Monk's style at this time was later described as hard swinging, with the addition of runs in the style of Art Tatum. Monk's stated influences included Duke Ellington, James P. Johnson, and other early stride pianists. According to the documentary Thelonious Monk, Straight, No Chaser, Monk lived in the same neighborhood in New York City as Johnson and knew him as a teenager.